Oh, yes, it seems to be that we're live again. Wow, wow, wow. How is everyone doing? Good to connect. It's been a while. Not a while, but just a day, I say. But when you are in a habit of doing something on a regular basis, then even a day's miss seems like a long time. And I'm so glad that everyone out here is here, really kicked in. Oh, super, super. I would love to know, folks, how has been the journey for you? So far, you've been attending sessions day in, day out, day in, day out. And if this is your first session, second session, third session, I do not know. If you haven't watched the previous sessions, then you must watch the previous sessions and get in the habit of learning and growing and transforming yourself. That is the entire intent. So I would love to know which session are you attending this evening with me? I would love to know, folks. So drop in the comment section and let me know that which session are you attending this evening. I have seen people who sometimes postpone that, this is on a weekend. I have plans with my family. I have to go and enjoy and watch that last episode on Netflix. That was amazing. That was thrilling. Oh, live sessions, I can always watch it sometime later. Yes. Let's confess, folks, that many of us, or I think almost every one of us, would have set some resolutions for ourselves that, hey, I want to lose some weight, I want to get in shape. So from 1st of January, I would get some habits into my routine, into my daily, the way I go around the day, and I would do something to just build some great habits. Oh, I think I do not have good reading habits. So from the next month onwards, I will start reading a lot of stuff. Oh, I think I am not exercising much and I am not meditating much. So I should start meditation now. Do we do that? Have we ever done that? I would love to know. I would love to know that whether have we done something similar where we all craved for building some habits, cultivating those habits, but somewhere down the line we could not, I repeat, we could not achieve what we really wanted to achieve. Certainly, you would have achieved some things, but not what you had set out for. What you had set out for, folks. Trust me, every single second which passes by takes away few moments, few seconds of our life. Tick, 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 tick. Even right now, as you saw these 3 seconds going by, they're gone. They are gone. And if you realize that, what can we do to get those habits as a part of our life? First of all, let's understand that why do we need habits, or do we have habits? Yes, everyone has some sort of habits, and which can be good, which can be bad. Since childhood, we have been told that do not have these bad habits, have some good habits, which takes you in the path of growth and success. Now let's understand that what habits do we have? Sometimes people who are working in the office or maybe back at home, they have a habit that, my session is over. I need to grab a cup of hot coffee. That's a habit. Let's understand that what causes this habit, that why do we have this habit? It's not like that after a session, I want a coffee. No. Technically, then after every session, I would be having the coffee. So we need to ask ourselves that what is the reminder? What is the reminder? Like, what reminds you to consume coffee? What reminds me to consume coffee? I'm just giving my example, okay? You can always relate with your example that how we start doing things on an everyday basis. So let us look at the conditions as well. It's perhaps 9 o'clock in the evening. I finish my session at 10 o'clock. And after the session, I have the coffee. There are few clues, there are few reminders. The first being that I have finished the session, so I should take a coffee. But I am tired after the session got over. That is the second reminder for me. Also, it is the night time. I am tired. The day has come to an end. So I should have coffee. So I have three reminders which tells me to grab a cup of coffee. Similarly, when you have to brush your teeth, you wake up in the morning and then you have and then you like brush your teeth. Yes, but that is not how it works. Just think about it, right? The moment you wake up, the moment you open your eyes, do you brush your teeth? No, right? You go to washroom and then you may brush your teeth. Just observe the pattern that when you are doing something, when something becomes a habit is a habit is when things happen not without much of thought. I repeat, a habit is in place which is not without much of thought. You do not give much of thought. It just happens because you have followed a routine. You have been doing it from a long time that it becomes a habit. I hope you get this. People often confuse it. You need to understand this part that when you do certain things from a long period of time, it becomes a habit. So, for example, if I say that you have to maybe use a mouthwash after brushing your teeth, then if I ask you to use or do a mouthwash with some liquid soap, and if I ask you to do it sometime in the day, that won't be as effective as a habit as compared to if you do it right after brushing the teeth. Now, understand that if you have to cultivate a habit, when you should do it. If you have to cultivate a habit, if you have to start a new habit, then do it with the existing habit. Now, I have a habit to brush my teeth. Yes, I have a habit to brush my teeth. You can use your mouthwash just after brushing your teeth. That is in a sequence. That is in a sequence. I hope you can understand that how it works. If you try to build a habit other way around, it won't be long lasting. It won't be long lasting. Folks, understand that why do we have habits? I have a reminder that I am not feeling happy. I am feeling depressed. I am feeling discharged. I am not feeling energetic. I have a trigger in my mind that I should eat Domino's. I should eat some pizza or like some junk food. That is the reminder. Yes. Why? Because my mood is on a low note. I have some kind of like chemicals released in my body, which tells me that I should grab a pizza, which may uplift my mood. That's a reminder, okay? Now, I continue doing it because I have a reward towards the end of it. So, look at the cycle. There was this man called Charles, Mr. Charles. He had an amazing loop in which he talks about the reminder, the repetition, and the reward. The third part, the reward, that what I would get if I do this, that makes a person continue following a habit. Observe it, that whenever you set a goal for yourself, that, okay, I want to achieve that, that's my goal. You have to ask that what would it take to achieve that goal? Ask yourself that what would it take to achieve that goal? Accordingly, you would form habits. Goals would act as a reward system. Goals would act as a reward system. For example, people have a habit to smoke. People have a habit to smoke or drink. Why? Because when they smoke, when they drink, they feel that the reward is that they'll feel relaxed. That is the reward which they feel that they would get once they intoxicate themselves, right? So the mind has been tuned in a way that if I get a reward after doing certain activity, I would form it as a part of my habit. Now you get it, right? So similarly, people have a habit to wake up in the morning and go for a run. It's spontaneous. I mean, they need not push themselves really hard to go for a walk every single morning. They just wake up and they just go for it. So there's no thought, there is no force as such which makes them leave the bed, because they can see the attached reward that they feel great when they go for a walk. So you ought to identify the reward which you get. Once you identify that this is the reward which I get once I follow a habit, you will be consciously choosing a habit. That is the word. That is the word. Some things which happen, without your control, that, you just see something, you start doing something. I mean, people have a habit to abuse. Why? Because of the environment, because of the trigger points, because of the trigger point. That is the way they speak. I hope you get this, right? Similarly, you ought to understand that if you have to reach your goal, then you have to choose the habits which will take you to that path. Now, what is the way of doing it? There have been a lot of researches done around this. Some people say that it takes 21 days to cultivate a habit. Some say it takes more than 66 days. There are various researches, but popularly it say 21 days. I have always been close to 17, 18 days of getting that habit into a recurring fashion. Now, try to understand, folks, that habit does not mean that you have to do it daily. Get this myth out of your head. People think that habit means that if I do something every single day, only then it becomes a habit. No, it is regular, but it is not daily. It can be daily, but not necessarily regular. I hope you get the difference. Regular and daily is different, right? So, in case of habits, it is regular. It's a regular feature that whenever some kind of trigger point, some kind of reminder occurs, you do that activity because you see a reward coming towards you. I hope you get this right. Now, how do you cultivate a good habit? A simple way, you can go by if then. If this, then this. If this, then this. For example, if I go for a walk, then this would happen. You need to apply this if then clause into your daily life whenever you select few habits. Try doing it. Try doing it in the real time, that whatever habits you have, that if I don't abuse, I would build better relationships. If I eat healthy, I would get this. The reward component has to be strong enough, folks. That's how we are driven. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. We all see that when we work in the organizations, we are incentivized by the money, by the salary that we get. Also, the kind of work, the love for the work, the love for the culture, that is somewhere which comes from within. The external factors, that how the place is, how the environment is, that also motivates you. So the reward component has to be really strong in order for you to cultivate a habit. So I hope so far it makes sense. If it makes sense so far, just type in makes sense in the comment section. Do it. Okay, go for it. Super. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Perfect. All right. Now let's understand further. Okay, it makes sense. Okay. Perfect. So this part is clear to all of you that how important goals are. I'm not talking about goal setting as such because goal setting is just one part of it. Systems matter more than the goal setting. People have set goals for themselves that I want to achieve this, I want to get this salary, I want to get this job, I want to become successful, whatever. That's your goal. But do we have systems? Ask yourself that. Do we have systems? Systems are much more powerful, my dear friends. Systems are much more powerful than goals. Goals give you a direction that, okay, this is where I have to go. But to achieve that goal, you need to have systems. And systems and habits are a part of systems. Habits are a part of systems. Observe this goal that this is where I have to go. How do I achieve that goal? That's my path. That's what I want to achieve in my life. How do I do it? By establishing systems. Else, trust me, you cannot achieve your goal if you do not have systems in place. If you take it as a responsibility, as a burden, as a forceful thing, then trust me, you can never make it a habit. It should trigger automatically that you should not think much before doing something which you're supposed to do. Yes, initially, to be very honest, you would struggle because you are trying something new. You are creating a new pattern. You are creating a new pattern, but after a while, when your mind, when your body, when your routine gets used to it, when you get used to it, then you won't find a challenge following this habit on a daily basis. Yes. Think that if I want to cultivate a habit of working hard, or some people say that you need to write 200 pages a day if you have to write a book, or if you have to record videos for public speaking, you should record 10 videos in a day. And so we often get motivated very easily. It takes just few words, one motivational video, and you're like pepped up that let's do it, let's rock. But suddenly I see that there's a drop in the energy. You can start writing pages and pages and start recording videos and videos, but then people droop. Observe that. People do enroll for gym membership in the first week of January. You can check out the stats and the research that maximum of the gym enrollments, they do happen in the month of January, when people think that, hey, this year I'm going to bring a transformation, this year I'm going to cultivate this habit. But do they actually go to gym for the entire year? They don't because the josh which they have in the first few weeks, it just comes to a standstill. When I say systems, having the environment is really important. For example, a habit to speak in English, come what may. A habit to communicate in English, come what may. Now, this habit has to be cultivated. If you have an environment, if you have people around you who are of that notion that yes, we should communicate in English, we should support each other, you would be motivated that okay, let me work towards it. But the moment you do not have a system, you do not have that environment which supports you, it would be a challenge. You can still do it. I don't say that you cannot do it, but it would take some challenge for you to create that intrinsic motivation. So think on those notes. That's important. Okay, 1 second. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right. I think we should keep it a bit short this evening. Let's pick up questions. If you have any around this, we can discuss it at length. Oh, yes. Okay. Go for it, folks. Yes. Yeah, so remember the 3 R's, which I referred from the Charles book? Reminder, then routine, and reward. What reminds you? For example, I have seen some of the people who are working after lunch break, they will go for a smoke break. They have a habit of smoking. And I wonder that why this habit is there. So it is a reminder for them that whenever they have lunch, they would go for a smoke break. Now, identify that trigger point. I identify that reminder, and just ask yourself that, hey, will this give me a reward? What is the reward? The reward is that I become calm, I become, like completely relaxed, and that is why the person goes for smoking. Is it leading you towards growth path or not? Ask yourself. Yes, Ashi, you have a question. Please shoot. Please shoot. Surinder says at 9 p.m. we are watching your video. Now it has become a habit. We wait for your video when clock approaching 9 p.m. Absolutely, Surinder. I mean, for me also, when I started this series, I was building this habit. I have done this previously also. I went live for 37 days consecutively, and it became a habit. That was like that time it was at 8 p.m, and it becomes a part of you. You need not think much. That's what I'm trying to say. The difference is that in case of habit, it becomes in the by default mode. You need not think much before doing something. Okay, folks, a couple of questions, then we would wrap up this session. Interestingly, one second. Okay, there's a question out here that regarding when people are really not supportive to communication in English and people try to learn English, but it takes much time. Please help me to change that person so I can change a world. Oh, I think this is quite rebellious, not rebellious, I would say. Um, all right. So the question out here is that Ashish does not has a friend circle where they're like not supportive to communicate in English, and you want to learn English, but takes a lot of time for you to change that person. All right, Ashish, I completely get it. You can try for once or twice, but if it doesn't work, you should not waste your energy and try to change people. Rather, find a group. You cannot complain in this digital age. You have a lot of online groups. Be a part of those groups where people communicate in English. If you really want to be in that group and be in that environment, because everyone has his or her own motivation to do things. As I said, intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. Now, if the motivation of some person is just to spend his time and get a degree and then go back home and do nothing in their life, then that's fine. That is like their call. But if you have a different path, if you have a goal, right, this is what I said, that having a goal and having systems, if you do not have those people, then change the people. You cannot change the people, but you can change the people. I hope you get this. You cannot change the people, but love, but you can always replace or change the people. I hope you get this. Okay, Jyoti. Sir, I also need one person who speaks English with me. would you like to give me suggestions what I can do? Well, we have Ashish out here. Do you like see this? That in this on this platform, we come across people who have a common goal, and that's how you connect. That's how you connect. You should find out ways to connect, and there are a lot of people who have a common goal. Sanjay is a part of our tribe, amazing member, and learning every single day. That's how it works. Lalit, is it true that 21 days is necessary for building a habit, or is it a myth? Well, to be very honest, I haven't done this research. People do quote this research that 21 days is what it takes. I have tried to follow this and I was able to tune myself in less than 21 days. I mean, what? In this session, this is, I think, 11th or 12th session. We are in a habit now because I have been recording videos one every single day. If you look at the history of my YouTube channel or Instagram or Facebook, every single day I have been posting a video. That's again a habit. Now it's like it has to be done. You don't get much of the thought behind it. It's like it has to be done. So do not restrict yourself that only after 3 weeks I will see a change. No, it doesn't go by those like standards. Sometimes it might take less time, it might take more time. It all depends. I would not say that blindly follow the 21 days like phenomena. Yes, there's a research, people do quote, there is some kind of fact behind it, but I won't say that this is true 100%. So get on the path and start doing your craft. Okay, Manya says, do give me a chance as well with the same goal. So if you want to communicate with people out here that you have Ashish, you have Jyoti, join them. Avatar, my favorite teacher, thank you so much, Avatar. So how about how to avoid bad habits? It's too difficult when you have any habit and you know it's bad for your future. So I have also a problem with remembering words in English and remember the rules. Okay. Well, buddy, I can understand that when you are able to identify, I think the first step is to identify the bad habits which you have done. There are people who are not even aware of it. They're like, yeah, this is it. So I really appreciate that you have this willingness to change things about yourself. Whereas many people are those who don't even care about changing their bad habit. They're like, this is it. So what can I do? At least you have taken this initiative. And now what you can do is whenever you have a trigger point, again, go back to the basics, whenever you have a cue, whenever you have a trigger point that you have a habit that whenever you get angry, you abuse. Just an example, that whenever you get angry, you abuse. That's a habit for you. Now, the next time, whenever you get angry, you can consciously, I repeat, you can consciously just be calm. Just be calm and try that you do not utter a word. Just observe that what was your default reaction? Was it to abuse? If the answer was yes, then at least you overcome the first step by just staying calm and breathing deep. Relax. You're trying to calm yourself because that instant, the moment you get angry, your reaction is to abuse. So you're just observing it. And then you are replacing it by maybe talking to the person in a better way. That can be one step at a time. I would never recommend that you would change your habit overnight. It takes time, folks. It takes time. Okay. Sir, I tried 21-day challenge, and according to our goals, they do change. You're a great source of motivation. Thank you, Manya. And yeah, I start my day with your videos, which gives me start with positivity and politeness. Awesome, Manya. Stay on the path. That's really important. And keep working. Keep working. That's important. Folks, we are a result of our habits. Believe it or not, we are all a result of our habits. We might say that people are born with some talent, but it's all about the habits that can make or break a person. Remember this. Habits are difficult to cultivate. I often see people in the organizations that those who would stay together, there's one person who doesn't want to grow, and the other person wants to stay with the person because that's a comfort zone. He will never try to hang around with those people in the organization who think beyond those four walls, who think about growth, because that takes effort, that requires you to leave your comfort zone. So be very honest, folks, that I have always been on this opinion that either stop aspiring. If you are aspiring, then be ready to sacrifice few things to bring in sub alterations. If you're like, no, 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 I want to continue in this manner, then stop aspiring, live your life the way you are living, and don't crib. Okay, Nidish, one question from your side. People around you just bully you to activate your trigger point. Then how to face that situation? Great, Nitish. That at least you identify that there are people who are trying to instigate you. You know, that's the beauty of it. At least through this session, you're able to identify that there's a trigger. At least I'm so happy that at least you can identify that you've been instigated by someone, right? Previously, you got instigated, but now you know that there is a trigger point coming from somewhere around. So once you have identified that, hey, you've been instigated by the person, as I said initially, observe your reaction. What would your reaction be? Observe it, okay? That what would your reaction be? What would you do if you were instigated? Once you identify that, right, then what you do? You just observe and try to replace it. A small start. I'm not asking you to change or flip overnight. It will not happen. It will not happen. Molding takes time. Molding is a better option. If you try to mold it like in one day, it will break. It would break, folks. So observe, bring in a slight change, and keep on doing it. That's a routine. That's a routine. For example, if you have to build your muscles, not on the first day, you can lift 40, 50, 100 kgs. You start slow. Else, you will injure yourself. You are preparing yourself, folks. You're preparing yourself. Absolutely, Mayur. We are the results of our habits. Okay, Nithanan, that's great to know that your session is wonderful. I have developed a habit to listen to your speech at 9 p.m., I suppose. Great. Last question for the day. So how can we start loving a person by soul without any expectations? And yeah, if he does mistake, then giving him second chance, but I really failed to this point. Manu, first of all, be in love with yourself. Be in love with yourself. The point is that you spend time with the other person, you forgive the other person, not because it will make him happy or her happy, it will make you happy. It would make you happy. Whatever you do it for your happiness. If you observe it, it brings happiness on your face. When you bring a puppy back at home, right? A puppy which was by the roadside, he was in terrible condition, right? And you brought the puppy home because that gave you happiness. That gave you happiness. So please be very clear that you should be in love with yourself. And once you are in love with yourself, you won't expect anything from the other person. You're like, fine, this is what they should be doing or they could be doing. That's okay, right? And loving a person by soul, I don't go that deep because you need to be clear, folks. I think we are too much in this idea of being in love. You know what, Manya? People are more obsessed with the idea of being in love than being actually in love. I repeat, people are more obsessed with the idea of being in love than being actually in love. That, oh my God, I'm in love. There are roses, there are violins, there is music, there is pink and red. No, that's the idea of love. And when we watch too much of Bollywood movies, I think we go into depth. It's all about that. Hey, when I spend my time with the person, I feel happy. Again, it's your happiness. You might think that, I am doing it for other person, I am making him happy. But right now, if you feel that you're not happy with the other person, then simply either try to discuss it out, sort things, else move on. It's simple. If the person does not reciprocate, I don't go by that ek tarfa PR which Bollywood always talk about. It is not like sustainable model. If I talk in terms of business and like marketing, then you cannot make it sustainable. I don't agree with that idea. Maybe some people would. That how long can you continue with loving one person till eternity? I don't think so. I think people who are in young 20s and all, they are like, no, sir, this is my first and the last love. And then they say the same thing to the every next person they date. So I don't believe in that idea. It's all about your happiness, that you find happiness when you spend time with the other person. Simple. Observe, right? Your parents, you, or anyone else. We spend time with the other person, not because it makes them happy. It makes them happy because that is why they are with you. Else they would have like dumped you. Simple. Right? We have a lot of options. Everyone has a lot of options. Okay. You are with the person because it makes you happy. Period. Right? And that is the most important thing. If you are happy, you would keep him happy, her happy, everyone happy. If you are sulking, then trust me, you cannot help anyone or make everyone happy. That's simple. Okay, so if you have not been Ikigai coach, you would have been a great psychiatrist. Oh well, in case of Ikigai, we do play with the mind, and that is where these insights come from. So that's how it works. So fall in love with yourself, folks. That's more important. I think even this is a habit which you need to cultivate. That I should do something to not upset myself. I should do something to keep myself happy. I should do something which keeps me going. Else, if you are trying to make people happy at the cost of your happiness, bad deal, bad deal. I'm a Bania by blood. My surname is a reflection of the Bania blood that flows in me. It is always a wise, that where do you invest your time? In happiness. If I spend time doing what I love to do, that's the best return. If I spend my time with the person who makes me happy, that's the best return. What's really wrong in that? Think about it, folks. Think about it, that whom are we trying to impress? Ask yourself. Whom are we trying to impress? I mean, you can do it on a very short term, right? Clear? But for how long? Look at sustainability, folks. That the life is not much about. Life is not just about a moment or a day or a week. It's about sustainability, folks. I hope you get this. Yes, awesome. It's time to wrap up. And I would request everyone who had joined for the first time or second time or 12th time, you should share videos and let people know that they should work on their craft. Okay. The question comes in, last question. Okay. We have a question coming in. No matter we had said that we are saying bye-bye, but seems to be concerned with some person that, sir, how to let things go? Say bye-bye. Why do you want to hold on to that thing? The only thing is that you're afraid. You're afraid, you are insecure, and that's why you are not letting those things go. You are scared of rejection. But when you are in love with yourself, when you have accepted yourself, who you are, what you would be, then you don't fear about rejections. What is the worst thing which can happen? Ask yourself, what is the worst thing which can happen? Then death. I don't think so anything else is there. So It's all about that we are holding on to something because we say that I'm emotionally attached. Crap, right? We are too much, doesn't work, folks. So let's be rational, folks. We are a generation which is smart, which is updated, and don't be an emotional fool, right? Get those habits right. It's all about growth. It's all about living your life to the fullest. That's important. किसको impress कर रहे हो यार? सोचिए. All right, then it's time to say bye-bye. I would see you in the next session. The updates will be given on the YouTube channel that when is the next session. So stay tuned. Until then, stay awesome and stay productive.